by the time you get to the end of 60 days, you should be able to look through your sources, your lead types, your channels, and you should be able to assess with a degree of confidence based on what sales is telling me, what I've seen on the floor. Are we getting the right types of leads as early indicators? Are we getting the wrong types of leads? So are we directionally correct or directionally incorrect? As you start to understand where you're directionally correct in that last 30 days, as you're coming out of 60 into 90, I encourage anybody that's listening to roll up your sleeves. If you're not good at spreadsheets, if you're not good at data, find a buddy inside of the company or outside of the company that is, and ask all of the questions you can. How many days did it take for us to call them the first time? How many days after we called them the first time did it take for it to open up an opportunity? How many emails did we send? How many of those came from the sales team? How many of those came from marketing? What does our cadence and our sequence look like? Was this a lead that came from paid media? Was it unpaid media? Was it a referral? Ask as many questions as you can because you don't know. And coming in and assuming anything of the data or the information is a bit of a fool's errand. It's a little bit like trying to do attribution before you really understand the life cycle of your customer. You need to understand as much as you possibly can about the journey and what's happening and ask a bunch of questions. Sometimes you're like, theirs aren't going to relate. But I think what you'll find is the harder you look at the data, the clearer it becomes, and you'll find that story to articulate not necessarily a counterpoint, but maybe a series of growth initiatives, growth hacks, or special plays that you can run alongside with sales to try and help combat some of those strong opinions and the blame game, if you will. But you can't come from a defensive position. You have to come from a position of you're really seeking to understand, and you have to do the work. And what I would say is that most organization leaders that I've been around, they get to a certain point and they're like, I'm done. The ones that I've seen that are exceptional are the ones that push through and ask another 30, 40, 50 questions. And they come back and they go, you know what it looks like? It looks like our territories are out of alignment because we're actually taking 30% of our leads. They're going over here, which is where our sales are higher. And if we realign the territories, this might actually make an improvement in how we're working our leads through. So there's a lot of different things you can look at. Not that that's marketing's job to make recommendations on territories, but you got to ask a lot of questions, and you got to ask a lot of questions all the way through the revenue cycle.